So I managed to cut some wood. The pile is going down. I guess I'll try to cut it all. I might even try to cut these ones instead of dragging them there and cutting them. I didn't even feel like doing that because I'm not in a mood right now with the rain and the cold weather. So yeah, it's going down. It's pretty much done. Look at the sawdust. Haha. That's great. That is great. And an hour has passed, so I just finished putting on a second coat. You can see my firewood there. I got a nice little pile. And I just put the second coat on. Yeah, it's looking pretty damn good. That's really nice. Really, really nice. It looks like this is the kind of paint you'd really want to go down to the bare metal so that you don't end up with places like that, you know? But yeah, I mean, look at the coverage here. You don't see any bare metal or anything, you know, all here. I cut around that again. And I was painting there, and I ended up painting the whole thing before I remembered that I was only going to paint this area here where the metal was showing. So yeah, that's coming out really, really nice. Really, really nice. I still think thinning it a little bit will help with the application. I'm never going to buy aerosol again. Never ever going to buy aerosol again. Because if I had purchased aerosol to paint that, it would have taken me almost two. More than one. Not almost two. More than one, for sure. Right? And these aerosols, I think, are almost $40 for one. And that's $44. And I've probably only used maybe an eighth of the can. An eighth? Not even. I'm never buying aerosol again. I don't care about paint, brush streaks and all that, you know. It's not worth it just for the looks. If somebody doesn't want to pay for something that was done for protection and function, then I'm happy not to sell them anything. If they just want shit that looks good, you know. If they want it to look good, I guess maybe I can charge them a little extra, put on another coat and buff it, sand it with like 5,000 grit and buff it, you know. But no. So right now I'm going to wait. Unfortunately, I have no choice but to wait until it's completely dry. So this, I can still scratch that a little bit, but it is getting hard. So once it's dry enough, I'll flip it over and then I'll paint. Finish, do the full paint job. Paint everything. Because all the perimeter here, oh shit, is painted except for this side. So, fuck, put my fingerprint in there. Oh well, it's gonna stay forever. Yep. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. So definitely tomorrow I'll be working on something else. I won't need to move that back there, so it'll stay there permanently. So what I was thinking is, once I put it back in here, I could cut firewood and just jam it underneath there and leave it for the winter or whatever, you know. That's what I think I will do. Pack it up high and pack all around it. And then I think I have some plywood out here. I'll use the plywood and make a table. Yeah, that piece right there. I think that'd be a perfect piece of plywood for this. And then, yeah. So once it's flipped over, I'm reckoning maybe it'll take me maybe half an hour to 1 hour, maybe a little more, to paint it, because I got to paint this side, all inside there, all what's on facing this way, the whole bottom there, the thing over the tab over there. Yeah. And then I gotta wait an hour before putting on the second coat. I might even have to put a third coat on for up there. I don't know. Definitely a third coat down there. Definitely worth it to put 3 coats there. And I was thinking, if when I was gonna mount back the gearbox there, to put something in between the gearbox and the paint so that it's not metal on metal contact, just so that it doesn't crack the paint, you know. That's what I'm thinking to do. Same thing with the motor, because the paint gets extremely hard, and those micro vibrations in between the 2 hard surfaces will cause it to crack, and then cracks will lead to rust, and rust will start spreading underneath the paint, and so on and so forth. So it's better to go try to protect it as best I can now. So, and I have to go upstairs to get my other phone to call the guy for the oil for that. I'm gonna give AMSOIL the sale, because I'm running AMSOIL for my engines, and supposedly AMSOIL makes a really good gear oil. So if it's good enough for the Dakar Rally in or the Baja 1000 in differentials and transfer cases, then it's good enough for the gear box on my pizza dough thing here. Some of the videos I deleted to make room on a SD card were videos of the winter time, and I'm like, holy fuck, that's coming right around the corner. White everywhere. Right around the corner. I don't think I'm gonna go to clean Liz's cottage this year. If the patio collapses, then it collapses. Nothing I can do about that. But I'm not gonna go and clean it. I don't think it's worth it until she has a proper road to get there, you know. Anyway, I really want to finish this soon. It's a good thing I don't rush it though, because I could have easily rushed it and tried to start doing these things prior, or like weeks ago. And I'm glad I didn't rush it and waited until I had absolutely nothing to do, because it takes a lot of concentration to sand it properly, wash it properly, clean it properly, then bring it here and and then paint it, wait for it to dry, and then paint it. Rushing this step would have been very, very detrimental. Can you imagine? I go so far and paint it, and then after I go to assemble it and the paint starts peeling or something, And I went so far as to buy quality paint, For the price of that, I could buy half a gallon of Trimclad gloss white metal paint for the price of half of that, and that's only 1/4 of a gallon. So that's pretty fucking expensive. That's 2 times more expensive than the Trimclad. And I bought it because it's epoxy. Enamel coated epoxy or some shit like that. So, if I'm going to go that far and buy something, good, I might as well set aside the time to concentrate and do a good job, If I was in Trinidad and Tobago right now, I wouldn't be working on this. I'd be working on maybe a Toyota Land Cruiser or a Toyota Hilux. And I'd be doing the same thing to that truck, rebuilding it like this, so that when I get it on the road and I start going in the streams and out into the bush, So I guess for me, this is like my Toyota Helix right there. Yeah, I think so. That's my Toyota Helix. I was honestly thinking to buy another motor, buy the motor with the proper direction, so I don't have to modify the frame for this one. I'm still thinking about it, because I'm seeing on Amazon, on Facebook there, that electric motors are not very expensive, man. People have a lot of used ones for sale for like $200, you know. So I'm still thinking about it. But when you check the specs, this one will work. You know, has everything exactly the same as the other one, other than the fact that this one turns in this direction and that one turned in the other direction. So that's the only dilemma. But everything else is the same thing. 3/4 horsepower, 1750 RPM, 60 hertz. So, you know, so I'm going to have to mount it here. So the motor's going to be half on this and half out, with the shaft sticking out this way. Because when I went to the Pizza Delight, it's incredible. That space looks so huge there, but when you have the motor mounted there, it's incredible how it takes up all the fucking space there. There's like nothing, no space to put anything else there. It's incredible, man. And the ass of the motor is just sticking out, you know? Because I was thinking, because this motor is going to be sticking out here, at least by this much, you know? And I'm thinking, man, that's going to look bad. It's going to look bad. But when I saw that motor, the way it was sticking out. Holy fuck. You know, it's the same fucking thing. And it was designed like that. I was also thinking to see if I could try to get the motor, to put the motor on this side with the shaft sticking out this way. But the rollers are there. I don't think I have enough space. You know? It doesn't matter. I'll figure it out. It's just like Sam with the freezer that he's got broken there, you know. If we can find a similar compressor for it that's going to work, then so be it, because that's exactly what this is. It's a similar motor to the one with one difference, but it's going to work. You know, so long as it can grab the belt and turn it, it's going to work, you know. I don't see why it wouldn't. So and I don't got to spend $200 to buy a new motor. Serge, I think he says that motor is like $1,000, 600 or 1,000. I don't fucking remember. He spent $300 to rebuild it. That's what he told me. So, I mean, money saved. And the truth is that I don't even know if I'll be able to get this motor sold. So I might as well use it, you know. Yeah, I'll use it. So I guess I'll get back cutting firewood, and I'll finish off my day like that. And if I find that it's dry enough, I'll flip it and start and continue painting. Man, there's something about painting that's so relaxing. I don't know. It's relaxing. You know, I went through all that trouble to bring it from the Pizza Delight here and save it, and then bring it inside my house and dismantle it completely. And then I went through all the trouble to clean it, clean off the rust, and then sand it, and then wash it, rinse it, put it here to dry, and now I'm painting it, you know. Like, this is the major part of the process, is cleaning. Once you have anything cleaned, then it's easier to work on. It's like when I was working on that the Mary Chef for Mark, that, you know, the one who owns Subway there. I have no knowledge of the machine. I just know it's broken, it's not working, and I don't know how to work the computer. So naturally I say to myself, you know, the machine's extremely dirty. Let's start by cleaning it. And as I was cleaning, lo and behold, I found the problem. You know, Cleanliness. Cleanliness is the core of everything, you know? For me, when I see in places where, the first job a novice gets is to wash and to clean, and then, well, it's not that, is that, they hire janitors to do this kind of job, janitors and cleaners specifically for that. Like, it makes me shake my head, because personally, when I'm working, I would never depend on somebody else to come and clean my mess. I make my mess, I clean my mess, and if my job is dirty, I have to clean my job. And once I clean my job, I get more and more information also presented to me as I clean it to come to a conclusion or to point me in the right direction. When you hire somebody else to go and clean for your job, it's like you don't fucking care, And then on top of that, you purposefully want to demoralize this person just so that you can look better. Oh, I'm this and I'm the professional here and you're just a cleaner, It's sad. It's very sad. Cleanliness is so critical, and yet they have some of the dumbest people doing it. And, they're never going to learn anything either. And the thing is that I learned most of my stuff just from cleaning. You pick something up and you start cleaning it and you start learning about it. You ask these questions. Why is it dirty here and why isn't it dirty there? And why is here has only this this certain substance there and is not anywhere else on the machine? Or how is it that this is accumulating here? Or why is there this big clump of thing there? And then as you clean it, it's like, hey, the dust and particles are clumping here because there's an oil leak, and the oil leak is causing these things to attract to it, and that's why there's a clump there, so there's a leak there. Or hey, over here there's this certain specific material being accumulated here because as the chain is rotated, it's flinging it there, or something like that, and then you start tracing these things. Like, okay, the chain doesn't seem to be running in alignment or something, and then you found the oil leak there, and you find these things as you clean. And the other thing too is that you cleaned it, so it's proof that you were there, as opposed to trusting somebody else to clean it, and you're saying that you're the technician and they've cleaned over all the clues that you should have been looking for, and all of a sudden you're going to say, I'm going to diagnose the problem and I'm going to find it, and if you were the one cleaning it, you probably would have found those problems in half the time, because now it's going to take you double the time or even more, so like, people see me riding around cutting grass and they think that's all I do. It's hard to explain this, but that's just one aspect of life. Cutting the grass, I get to know my clients and my customers. I get to know their properties and what they want, and I get an impression of them. So when they hire me to do other things, I have a much more solid foundation that I could put my confidence in. So when I go to do a job for them, I know what I'm doing. As opposed to somebody going into a job blind. I mean, and I'm already there too. I could do this and I could do that all in one shot. Because when you do it like that, you're staying in one spot, and you're doing the small jobs that are worth less, and then you get the big jobs that are worth more, but you're never moving. As opposed to somebody who's a professional, he's here, he's there, he's here, he's there, he's here, he's there, jumping around. And sure, they do their job fine, but they leave a mess, or they create a mess. I'm a kind of guy that likes to start things from the start all the way to the finish, so that when I leave, there's nothing to do. It's done. Um, I don't know. I don't know. That's why I say Canada's a mistake. I'm living in this country and I'm trying to work and survive, and nothing's meshing, because all these people out here are selfish, uh, white trash. They want to be all professionals doing professional jobs, and their primary function in life is to demoralize everybody around them. You know, so it's like, so I'm pretty sure that the woman that wipes their assholes is a piece of shit in their eyes. In other words, you know, because they wouldn't even wipe their own assholes. So why should the person wiping their own assholes be somebody professional? They're a piece of shit too. It doesn't make sense, does it? You know? I guess it comes back down to chores and duty. You have your duty to perform your chores. Once your chores are done, then you could do better things. Yeah, that's a great example. That's a great example of what these people are out here. That's why I cannot understand or socialize or integrate with the people out here. Because I grew up doing chores. I have my chores to do. And 99.9% of the people that talk to me don't understand this concept. And none of them do chores. None of them. They're all professionals. Specializing in one thing, being complete white trash. So when you guys see me doing cutting grass, or if I'm at home and you don't see me at all, um, whatever you guys think I'm doing in your mind is what you think I'm doing. And all that time I was here, I was been cutting firewood out in the woods, getting my sailboat back into the water. I mean, I was always busy, man. That's why I don't understand you guys. And now I do. You guys are just little kids. You guys will never get punished. You guys will never do chores. And you guys will never grow up to be mature adults. And I'm trying to integrate with you. And I grow up doing chores. So it just doesn't work. And this is a big reason why I made a mistake thinking that I can assimilate into Canadian society just because I hold citizenship. And the truth is that I should have been an introvert, keeping to myself. Because what I'm doing is better than what you guys are doing. And by associating with you, you destroy me. Because I have much to lose. Because what I'm doing is valuable. And it accumulates to something. And when you come near me with your stupidity, it's immediate destruction for me. Why do you think I look the way that I do? I don't care to keep my appearance up or my clothing clean or whatever. Because everybody that approaches me is not worth talking to. You're all worthless piles of white trash. You guys don't have no self-respect. You don't respect other people. All a bunch of fucking white trash. Fucking white trash, man.